I'm Wesley Morris, and like a lot of people, I am watching Love Story, JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette.
Carolyn, this is John Kennedy.
It's been 2 months of this show now. It's very popular, and it's about to come to an end. So what did we watch? What just happened? I would say, okay, for me, what happened was I was watching this really cute sitcom for about 4 episodes. Where, you know, a single white lady goes to work and like has the time of her life in some big American city. Mary Tyler Moore is coming to mind. Jennifer Aniston, when Rachel gets that job at Ralph Lauren for a couple seasons on Friends.
I have a job interview at Ralph Lauren tomorrow.
Carrie Bradshaw, Sex and the City. She didn't go to work, but she did go to work. Every time she left that apartment, she was doing her job as Carrie Bradshaw. But also just loving life. There's so much of this show that involves Carolyn Bessette just going to her job at Calvin Klein, where she rises through the ranks to become a pretty successful person at the company. And she loves going to New York City. There's this great moment where she's walking through the office and she's just like,
How good was Florent?
How was Florent? It was great, wasn't it? And I'm like, yeah, that to me is that NBC sitcom version of Carolyn Bessette's life. She meets JFK Jr. and the script gets flipped. The show goes from like Sex and the City.
He's not coming. Oh my God.
To Rosemary's Baby. It goes from this sitcom to a horror movie. And I think the nature of the horror is just one of these sort of subgenres of romance that involves a woman making a choice to be with a man who is either going to ruin her life or her life is going to end in some way, some terrible way.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Satan is his...
In Rosemary's Baby, you're watching somebody descend into this relationship with a cult. And you know, I'm not out here trying to like compare the Kennedys to Ruth Gordon and the demon posse that she runs, but there is something about watching this woman make a choice to marry into a kind of darkness. What Carolyn Bessette needs a minute to think about is whether she wants to knowingly become Rosemary. Do I remain this free, independent spirit in New York City having the time of my life? Or do I give all of that up to marry a man who he may not want to change my life, but the world he comes from and all of the things attached to it, in this case meaning, you know, the tabloids, the paparazzi, is that going to be worth the sacrifice of all my like carefree single girlness? And she chooses, yes, I'm going to marry this man. And then when she marries him, she's like, oh, fuck. What did I do? I married this man and I can't leave the house now because the National Enquirer is parked outside this apartment all day, right? It takes a minute to show you how this feels for her, what this is like watching her descend from this happy-go-lucky person who's got some emotional complexity too, but essentially into this flavorless, stuck, trapped, caged creature. There's a moment where we've watched Carolyn sit home all day doing really not much of anything and just thinking about her life. JFK Jr. comes home.
She's dead.
This is in the middle of Princess Diana's death, and she is really reeling from this person having died, and her life flashes before her eyes, essentially, in watching this terrible crash that kills 3 people that the paparazzi causes.
They killed her. She did everything right, posed for every photo, gave them everything they wanted, and they still killed her.
Am I going to die a paparazzi death, she's probably wondering?
Does it not scare you?
Because something comes up for him, too, that's trauma-oriented. And they're arguing about their lives together.
Want to know why I can't watch this? Because if I do, I'll never fucking stop, okay?
This is the shift that the show makes from, like, light, happy-go-lucky to, like, deep, dark, and depressed. And you're basically living this show through Carolyn Bessette's eyes in a really deep way. She is really resisting becoming Rosemary in Rosemary's Baby, but I think what she realizes toward the end of this show is it's too late. She already is. And, there's a great moment, I think it's episode 8, where, it might be too much, but it's not really. She's just like in her boredom and misery, just sort of like crawled under a glass coffee table and is just kind of pinned there. And the shot kind of lingers. It is a wonderful metaphor for the entire experience that she has. It's not a closet. She could have just hid in the closet, but she doesn't. She hides under a thing that we can all see through, which is glass, and she's trapped there. And I don't know. I feel like that is a really deep situation that this show is very patiently unspooling. It is taking its time showing you the actual horror that, at the time in the 90s when everybody was sort of paying attention to this relationship in real time, there was a kind of complexity, or at least this show is arguing that there was a complexity happening behind the scenes, and that this woman was really perhaps suffering in this major way about what her life had become. And it does not seem happy. It also seems fitting that the show comes from Ryan Murphy's production company. It's the same place that has brought you everything from Glee and Pose. It's also the same company that got you The People vs. O.J. Simpson, the Menendez Brothers show, and the show about Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. These real examinations of the American psyche and soul. And, it's also the same company that has given you many seasons of something called American Horror Story.
What's the thing that scares you the most?
It is now official. Donald Trump is the next president of the United States.
And I would argue that the only reason this show was called Love Story, JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette is, it's only because American Horror Story was already taken.